OK Bears has changed the NFT game forever, and I don't think that's an overstatement. Their marketing is brilliant, and it all contributes towards building a brand that's a defensive moat, a competitive advantage, and the foundation for their continued path on being a blue chip project. So in this video, I want to analyze their marketing, their strategies, how they're actually going about building the brand and leveraging their community to do so. What's up, Yeti fam? My name is Gen Furukawa, and we'll dig into their website, their mission, their Twitter, and how it can be replicated by you, whether you are doing your own research to find other projects that are doing similar things, or if you're launching your own project and you want to incorporate some of these brand building strategies. These are replicable, but they're beautifully executed because ultimately I didn't know a lot about OK Bears. I'm not a bear holder, but in digging in, I can see where there is a lot of hype and interest around this project and how I don't think that it's going away based on how they're building their brand, their narrative, how their story is unfolding every day. So let's get right into it. Now, first, let's start with a little bit of context. So OK Bears launched on April 26, 2022. So almost less than 3 weeks ago. And it minted at 1.5 souls, which at the time was about $150. And right now, as you can see on Magic Eden, the floor price is 190 souls. So that is almost a 200x increase in the course of 3 weeks. And mind you, for context, we are in a bear market, no pun intended. The timing turned out to be quite good for some of the puns and the brands, the verbiage that the OK Bears can use, as we are all in this mentality of a bear market and that we're wondering if we all are going to be okay. So the mint sold out very quickly and it made records. I love this tweet. So OpenSea congratulated OK Bears on breaking records for OpenSea, the first Solana-based project to top OpenSea's market-wide 24-hour sales tracker. And so you can see here in volume that OK Bears is the top grossing by volume, 196 SOL in the first 24 hours. Amazing. Even better is, I think, what Magic Eden's response was. Are you okay? So this tweet is a little bit of a shit post towards OpenSea because, as you can see from this graph, a majority, 96% of the sales volume came from Magic Eden. I don't know if OpenSea was trying to take credit for, but Magic Eden drove a lot of this. And this is one of the critical parts. The first part of their brand building strategy is partnerships. So OK Bears and Magic Eden, which is a #1 Solana marketplace for NFTs, had a partnership. And I think that this was a lot behind the immediate growth of the sales, where they minted out their private whitelist sale and their public sale within an hour, I believe, or immediately, very quickly. So this is a tweet of Magic Eden congratulating OK Bears on their historic launch and the historic project statistics. So of the 400,000 in Solana volume, there was 19% of new users or wallets, which I think is really staggering and interesting fact. So sure, some of those could have been Ethereum NFT collectors moving over to Solana, but there is some assumption on my part that they are people new to NFTs. And that's really the crux of what OK Bears is about, is that not everything needs to be, the best or the worst, but there is a middle ground. And that's where the OK Bears are kind of like establishing themselves. You don't need to be exceptional. You can just be laid back and chill and welcoming and just have good vibes. And so that's part of their manifesto, which we'll get into in a bit. But I want to continue on partnerships and some of the partnerships that OK Bears has lined up and what that could indicate for the future of the project and how it could really be a gravitational pull for people from Web 2 or in real life activities to find a foothold in the NFT space. OK Bears could be that project. And as there's more adoption of NFTs, of kind of normal people, so to speak, where we are still so early, it's like 1995 by statistics in terms of adoption of NFTs. So as more people are coming in from the Web 2 world into Web 3, they might find that OK Bears are a good starting place. And so that could be huge for the brand. So one way that OK Bears is going to build that bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 is with their bear market. So again, this is where the Magic Eden partnership has really deep roots and will continue to grow. Some of this involves merchandise. Some of this involves e-commerce with their partnership with Shopify. They were also talking about partnerships with Sony, which would involve media, I believe, and then some lifestyle brands. So if you think of what Cool Cats and Puma have done, or Artifact and Nike, I can see this evolving with OK Bears and other lifestyle brands to kind of make it more of a mainstream brand and have appeal outside of this small kind of insulated Web3 world. Now, OK Bears has really differentiated itself around its community. And sure, every NFT project these days is going to have their community. It's going to be, join our Discord or join our Twitter, just be part of the community. But there is only so many communities that somebody can be a part of and actively be a part of. Somehow, OK Bears has created a very vibrant and engaged community. And I think that this is why. Brand is built through community. This is one of their foundational core principles, and they are living it out in various ways. This tweet is one of them. Before they actually minted, they did release their Bear With Us manifesto. And we can read it as kind of like a rhyming poem. It's cute. It's something that I haven't seen from an NFT project, but it does put their focus on community front and center with things like good vibes and community. It'll be one hell of a ride. But basically their community, which they are defining themselves in this manifesto and through the content that they're putting out, is that it's okay to kind of just be relaxed, to be chill, to be part of a welcoming community. Because if you are an outsider to Web3, a lot of this can be a little bit intimidating, or you don't know how you might fit in, and you don't know what questions to ask or are okay to ask. And so I think that this manifesto makes that explicitly clear. It's okay to come as you are. So one thing that they've used that lots of brands that like to coalesce around a particular word or phrase is that the OK Bears have adopted WAGBO. We're all going to be okay. So there's that play on words, OK Bears, and of course a reference to WAGMI, we're all going to make it. But they have taken WAGBO as their call to arms, so to speak. Now, one thing I like about their community building efforts is they actually empower the community to create the brand themselves. So they launched their Twitter 7 weeks or so before they actually minted their project. That's not a lot of time to build the brand. But at its foundation, they laid out the blueprint here. We can get into this. And then from there, they empower the community to define what that brand is. One example is WAGBO. So we're all going to be okay, which is something that they attribute to this Twitter user, KickCS1. I don't know the person, but it's really cool that they are kind of building their pillar phrase around something that the community made up. And so I think using this phrase WAGBO embodies a lot of what Web3 has to offer, which is that things are permissionless, that things are community driven and community owned, and that the project and the brand are established by OK Bears, the founding team, of course. But from there, the brand becomes a living organism. It changes, it moves, it is defined by the community that it is a part of, or the community members that find the OK Bears as their hub online. Now, another brand strategy that's really critical that the OK Bears have executed is creating a vision, an exciting vision. So here's a thread that lays out what the future of OK Bears hold. So of course, they are highlighting that they've broken trade volume records. They've become the first and only Solana brand on top of OpenSea charts, and they built a community of bears that is a force to be reckoned with. Cool. Now, like I said, it was a very short time between when they even just started this project publicly and when they minted. So a lot of this is where the blueprint, which they have here, is going to be kind of like high level. It might offer the framework or the structure. We're going to have a marketplace where there will be an e-commerce element. There will be a workshop where we will be highlighting some community engagement and art and online community activations. But when building a brand, it's important that you are creating the vision, the high level vision, and then you're filling in the details as you go along. And this is almost by necessity with an NFT project where the timeframes are so short. You can't necessarily have a fully laid out blueprint or roadmap between launch and soon after. So a lot of this has to be kind of like filled in and community driven. So this is the OK Bears Park, a place to fit in and stand out. And you'll see the team. It's actually a fairly large team. Ironically, none of these people are fully docs. There's a little bit of background, but there is a lot of brand background in it. So the co-founder worked for UNICEF, United Nations, Unilever, some of the biggest brands in the world. But what I find really interesting here is the build with us. So essentially, you or me as a community member are part of the team that we're building with them. Our brand is built through community, and together we are creating one of the world's leading Web3 brands. So that's where they are creating the vision and then relying on the community members to fill in the gaps of what that vision looks like. How will the e-commerce component work? How will the bridge between Web2 and the in real life activities and the Web3 metaverse stuff, how will that all combine? Well, it's up to us, the community members. I should say, not us, because I'm not a Bear holder, but anybody in the Bear community will be able to fulfill the vision and execute on that. Now, like I said, OK Bears has a big vision to change Web3, to change the NFT game. Now, I was saying that OK Bears is executing on a lot of the promises of Web3, that it is community owned, it is optimistic, it is welcoming. And that's what we need in the Web3 and NFT space now, is a little burst of hope. Right now, we are in the bear market where there's not a lot of excitement. The projects that are launching now don't necessarily have the same excitement, energy, investment that even just a few months ago had. So OK Bears is bringing that now, and they are trying to share that in their vision. And I think this line is indicative of a lot of that, of what their long-term vision is and how that could impact us as NFT collectors. OK Bears is a culture shift. It is a Web3 brand that will make waves in the real world. We've already made NFT history, and we're just getting started. More details on the above in the coming weeks. We're all going to be okay. I love that. There's enough of the vision that's been executed so far, enough details put out so that we have an idea of what their goals are. But it's not so granular where we know exactly what it is. And this is, again, where the community comes in to fill in those gaps, to share those ideas, to actually drive these things forward. So their team right now might be just 12 people, but the community as a whole, it might be 10,000 community holders and then more. Because as I mentioned in this tweet here, there are going to be bear drops. They're coming, holders only. So this is a little bit of a hint, similar to maybe what Bored Ape Yacht Club did with Mutant Apes or Bored Ape Kennel Club, that this is their kind of V1, and then all holders will be rewarded with future drops. So this is a really exciting project, and I just love what they've done in terms of establishing their marketing and building a brand from the start, because as we are seeing a more saturated, especially a PFP marketplace is becoming very saturated, it is the brand itself that is going to stand out and help this project in particular, or whatever project has a strong brand, to continue to sustain far beyond the ups and downs of a bull or bear market. We've already seen multiple derivative projects. Some have done okay, actually, and some have just kind of like been divisive of the community. I'm thinking of Not OK Bears, which basically took the OK Bears project from Solana, flipped the PFP, and then launched it on Ethereum, got delisted soon after. If you have a strong brand, these copycats and these people that are trying to take a part of that market share will fall by the wayside as a brand like this continues forward. So anyway, I hope that helps. I find this super interesting. I hope you do too. Hit like and subscribe, please, so that we can continue this conversation and study more projects that are going to succeed. I'll see you in the next one.